Quick one, I'm now offering the opportunity to hop on a consultation call for 1 hour with me. I will never ever be able to change your life, but I will empower you and show you how to change your own life. How's it going? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm without my buddy Fabian. He just had surgery last week, but we're going to make some content and help you out no matter what. So today there's a few topics that I wanted to talk about, but we'll start with the idea of doing all your worrying prior to making a decision. Now, when you hear that, what do I mean by doing the worrying before making the decision? Well, in our minds, for me, it has happened multiple times where I am just fearfully projecting into the future something that's going to happen, but in a negative way. Like, the future hasn't occurred yet, and I'm sitting here pondering about it, but the thoughts are not good thoughts. They're bad thoughts. So, how can we minimize those bad thoughts? What can we do to limit the amount of time that we spend worrying and creating these negative situations? That, here's the statistic. 80% of the worries you have don't happen. So only 2 out of 10 times a fear, a worry you have occurs. Think about that. Because, oh my gosh, I have spent so much time in my life worrying about things that I have to do, whether it's graduation, a big speech, talking in front of the classroom, meeting someone new. There are always going to be stressful situations that we go through. And by at least not spending time worrying prior, I promise you, everything turns out so much better, more enjoyable, and just a happier time when you don't spend continuous minutes and hours stressing about the future. Take care of today. Take care of what is in your control. Let's say that you're worrying about going and speaking in front of a crowd of people. Well, that is common. That's something that is stressful. But what do you have to do to control that? Well, number one, study and prepare your information. So rather than worrying about, oh, is this person going to judge me? Wow, the teacher might not like my voice. Things that are out of your control. Study what you're going to say. Have confidence in your preparation to the point where when that time occurs, when it is ready to get and do the stressful act, you say, well, I prepared. I'm ready for this. I trust my preparation. Let's do it. So that's a simple example of how worrying, and it's so common because for some reason the brain just tends to be fearful. It tends to be fearful. Maybe it's because we did not always have the luxuries that we have today. You know, back in the day, we actually had to listen and, as a hunter and gatherer, be very conscious of any noise because it could be a deadly animal. Now we have protection and we have a better environment that we don't need to be so fearful. And our brain hasn't evolved. What I like to call this is the monkey brain. And it's our job to upgrade that by studying the new information. We have videos, we have books. There's so much information and wisdom out there shared by people who have spent their whole lives or, just substantial periods of time educating themselves on topics. The world is so much more safe and better now. So that doesn't mean our amygdala doesn't continue to work. We still have the fear-producing factors within our brain. So just in general, fear is never going to be something that helps you, that makes you grow, that urges you to push your limits, to try new things. It's always going to be that bitch voice, that ego. It's going to make you feel like you can't do it. And it's our duty to realize, okay, that is not the truth. Even though I'm fearful, I'm imagining negative situations occurring and playing out, trust that as long as you do the work, the preparation, and you know you're confident, you have nothing to worry about. So it's just no benefits come from worrying. I really would encourage that any moment, any time that one is just stressing out, ask yourself a few questions. Is this something I can control? If it isn't in your control at all, what can you do? Because sometimes even when it seems like it is completely out of our control, we can do something. Whether it's changing what you're eating, or let's say that someone is always rude to you. They don't like you for some reason. That might be out of your control, but what can you control? The way you perceive their information. If someone is bullying you and mean to you, instead of being upset, instead of being a victim that they are mean and they don't like you, maybe you can dive deeper into the situation and do some conscious reflection. Maybe this poor person has a father or a mother who are absolutely horrible to them, and that is not an uncommon situation. So you have a kid who is mistreated, and he puts his insecurities onto other kids, which may be you. Think about things in a deeper, more curious manner, because there's so many things on our earth that are just very intriguing. But if you're not at all curious about the way that situations occur and what leads the psychology behind certain people doing certain actions, there's a lot of benefit that can come from simply asking these questions. We need to have more empathy. In my opinion, empathy is so powerful because it involves you taking a step out of your own selfish ways, your own routine in life, the comfortable things that we do almost every day. And it forces you to get a little bit uncomfortable, to do something that isn't super common for you, to put yourself in the shoes of someone else, considering all the different factors that may be affecting them. We don't do this enough. And if we did, the realization that all of us are humans would occur. I don't care what color you are. You know why? Because I know we're all humans created by the same being. And no matter what your color is, or your height, or your size, none of that matters. What matters is, are you loved? How are you perceiving things? Are you trying to be your best? Are you reflecting upon your life? And is there any questions you're asking to be better or to solve things that you are not happy with? There are so many ways that empathy just spreads in a healthy, beautiful manner. But we have to do that reflection, have that natural curiosity to even put ourselves in someone's shoes, to want to ask questions. There's nothing more powerful than asking questions. Whether it's to a mentor, a parent, someone of more wisdom and knowledge, for the most part, people who live this way, who are working to be their best, and they feel like, I feel obligated to continuously learn, grow, and try to help other people because, okay, I was born into this situation where I have a luxurious life. Not in the way that I'm a millionaire, not in the way that I have a Lamborghini, but I have shelter, I have technology, I have massive resources. There's unlimited information out there. at my hands. So there's this feeling deep inside that the way I spend every moment, it needs to be to help the individual. When you live in a way where helping other people be their best, or just enhancing one aspect of another's life is important to you, you're going to be fulfilled, because humans are naturally similar. Like I said, I don't care what race you are, or height, or size, because we all have brains, we all have bodies, and we all have the thing we refer to as I, or I am mad, I am sad, I am whatever. Your body is not the thing that you're talking about when you say I am. The body is completely indifferent from I. And it might sound kind of confusing, so let's break down the details of what I mean. I is not my finger. It's not my hand. It isn't my chest. I is not even my brain. I is the conscious. There are a few different terms for this, but let's just say for now, the conscious, the thing within the brain. It's not the brain itself, because what the brain is doing is, like, I'm talking with my hands right now. I'm not telling my hands to move. I am talking with my hands. My lips are moving because of my brain. I'm not even thinking about these things. The brain is just making the body work in confluence with what my conscious, with what I am trying to do. And that is an intriguing topic to get on, but my point is that things are much deeper than just materialistic in words and thoughts and perceptions. We control our reality. We have the power to manage our thoughts. You can't control the first thought, but you can control the second. So these are all interesting concepts, but there's just a deeper thing behind life, behind what you do, how you carry yourself, the way you speak to other people, the drive within. Either you're kind of caught up in the distracted world, the Lamborghini, the money, the just very basic materialistic things, or you are a deeper thinker who understands that the way you spend every moment, the way that you treat someone, one person, that changes the world. And what do you mean, Justin? It changes the world in what way? You're talking to one person that changes the world? No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. Because the energy that you're putting out compounds. If you help one person, guess what? That one person is more likely to help another. And I hope you understand what that means. Compounding. You push a snowball. The snowball doesn't just get big all at once. The snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that is why it's so important to pay attention to your actions and who you are, who you want to become, what you're doing with every minute, every moment. These things compound. Compound, compound, compound. It is the seventh wonder of the world. Don't let anyone convince you that you can just have a different personality around different people, or be nice to one person and be mean to another person. No. If you want to be your best, you love everyone equally. You don't judge people by how they look, how they feel, or you know what I mean. You don't judge people in a negative manner. So, of course, judgment is healthy as well. It's just the way that you're judging people. If I look at an obese person and he's in the gym, I make a judgment. He's obese. But my second judgment is he is working to be his best self. He is working to not be obese. So I hope that explains the difference between a healthy judgment and unhealthy judgment. If you can admire someone even though they are clearly having a rough life or a rough time, but they have made the effort to be growing and learning and better. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than when someone is sick of living in a low energy life, a low frequency life, where there are rude people, where there's drugs, where you're running away from reality, you're constantly distracted. And when you turn into the inward self, where you say, I'm done feeling bad about myself. I'm going to take control of my life and do what I want to do to be my best. Read books, write, exercise, nutrition, avoid alcohol, except for celebrations. I'm not saying you don't celebrate. Celebrate is the word, because you don't drink alcohol for no fucking reason. You drink it to celebrate because you earned it, because you worked hard for it. So I freaking ranted a bit, but there were some very good points in this. Let's wrap it up. What are the final points that you should really take away from this episode? Well, the small things compound. The way that you show up every day, and I will never not say this because it is so relevant to how I feel in this moment. You are kind to people. You carry yourself in a way where your shoulders are back, your head is high, and you're confident. You know you're working towards your dreams, your passion, your goals. You pay attention to when your mind is giving you negative thoughts, bad loops of patterns, and you correct that. You can't control the first, you can control the second thought. So that is the big takeaway. The small things compound. Pay attention to everything. Find joy and be curious about the ordinary things. If you're on a hike, you can either see a million of the same trees, or you can look for the cardinal. You can look for the interesting, weird, unique parts of life. I love you all. Remember, if you enjoyed, if you learned, share it with one like-minded buddy. Just one. And go on the podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Google, scroll to the bottom and just leave a quick rating. Honest rating. If you didn't like it, give me a fucking 0. And if you loved it, give me a 5 and even write a review for me. Love you. Enjoy yourself. Remember, you control your reality. You are in charge of how you show up every day, and I urge you to be the best you can possibly be.